Welcome to the Escapart Podcast. My name is Stuart Burrell, and this is going to be a media-related one. We've done some media-related ones in the past, talking about robot wars, reading excerpts from The Master Mystery, and so on and so forth. This one is specifically relating to the upcoming DVD release of The Force Awakens. So if you've tuned in for a discussion about weightlifting, strongmen, escapology, robot wars, this is going to be a little bit different. If, however, you do like Star Wars, thank you for listening. Equally, do check out sites and YouTube channels like Dash Star. Dash does a fantastic update on what's happening in the world of Star Wars, and big shout out to him. Never met the man, never communicated, but genuinely really like what he does. This is, let's call it an insane fan theory, and this is based purely on, we all know, or we can all assume, that when we get to episode 8, which is the one they're shooting now, there will be some plot twists. But we all appreciate that the end of the end of episode 7, end of The Force Awakens, and if you haven't watched that film and you don't want to know, then please disconnect now. Push stop. Stop listening. Turn it off. Seriously, reach over and push the stop key. Disconnect. If for whatever reason it's not working, I'll give you 10 seconds to go over to the router and turn it off. Disconnect this. Shut down whatever device you're listening to this on if you do not want to know the following spoilers that are in the film. Okay? Have you done that? Just give you a few more seconds. Just a teeny weeny bit more. Okay. So I'm working on the assumption that you have now all agreed that you are going to listen to the spoiler. Okay, they find Luke Skywalker at the end, and Daisy Ripley's character Rey is there holding out the lightsaber, almost saying, "Please train me to be a Jedi." And there's a huge undercurrent that perhaps Rey is in fact Luke's daughter. Pause for a second. We all accept that that's the way the film is pointing. We all accept that it's probably a foregone conclusion. But in terms of curveballs, because when we sat down in Empire, none of us were expecting Darth Vader to turn around and say, "I am your father." And whilst it would be really cool for Luke to say, "I am your father," it's almost too obvious a track to go down. Luke has isolated himself. There's no talk of family, and he was very much focused on being a Jedi. He saw how the children, or the child of Han and Leia, turned to the dark side. So let's work on the assumption he hasn't actually got any children. After all, finding out the one girl you were really keen on turned out to be a sister would be enough to put people off anything. So let's work on the assumption that Rey isn't Luke's daughter. So she's incredibly force sensitive, and she does excellent mind tricks. So I'm going to throw a curveball completely out there. This is up there with Jar Jar Binks is a Sith Lord, and it's probably in the percentage wise, it's probably 0.5 of 1 percentage point going to happen. So please do not put any weight on this. But her mannerisms when she's in the chair doing the Jedi mind trick on the Stormtrooper were very reminiscent of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And yes, that's where I'm going with this. What if Obi-Wan Kenobi, when he stopped being a Jedi Knight because the Jedi Order was disbanded, and he went off and became Ben Kenobi, what happened in the wilderness of Tatooine? I know I'm just saying right now that Luke has gone off and not had kids, but Obi-Wan was known as Ben Kenobi for a long time. And work with me. In the original script that became the novelization for Return of the Jedi, we read that Owen Lars, who was Uncle Owen, was actually Ben Kenobi's cousin, which opens up a question. Given how limited given the fact that Obi-Wan didn't seem to have any siblings in the Clone Wars, and I gladly apologise if I missed that episode or I missed that plot line, but what if Ben Kenobi got married? What if Ben Kenobi married into the Lars family as a way of keeping Owen in check? That then opens a question: what if, having married into the Lars family, a daughter or a son was produced, and that in turn led to Daisy Ridley's character, Rey, being born? Now, I know what you're saying, well, the whole thing is The Force Awakens, and there's a whole sense of foreboding, and the Force-sensitive Kylo Ren pauses and looks at Finn. Yes, and that's the other can of worms I'm going to go to. If Han and Leia broke up, it wouldn't just have been their son turning to the dark side. There would have been another reason. There would have been another incredibly detailed and complicated reason for them to break up. Their son turning to the dark side could have actually united them. So, and again, not casting dispersions on the fictional characters of our childhood, but what if, with Supreme Leader Snoke dripping poison in everyone's ears, what if they broke up, and what other charming rogue would be around? In this insane fan theory being put out there for the heck of it, what if Finn is Lando's son? That would explain why Kylo Ren sensed his presence on Jakku. That would explain his ability to not cut his hand off with a lightsaber. And in speaking about the lightsaber, yes, we all know it's the lightsaber from Bespin. We know it's the lightsaber that Luke lost when his hand was cut off during Empire. But equally, there was another lightsaber that was lost, that was bluey white, and that was Ben's. That was Obi-Wan Kenobi's. The last person standing over that lightsaber was Darth Vader. And we do hear Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ben Kenobi's voice, when Rey touches it. Now all I'm saying is that these are things that make you go, ooh, that could be a possibility, and it lets the imagination run wild. The reality is that episode 8 will probably contain more questions than it has answers, and more importantly, I like the idea of Rey being a Skywalker. I'm not opposed to that plotline because I was a fan of the Legend series with Mara Jade and the incredibly convoluted way they felt she and Luke Skywalker fell in love. I'm also a fan of Finn just being a very talented, well-trained fighter. I am not advocating that this should be a plotline they go down. I'm just saying that out of all the fan theories out there, this is up there with the, ooh, what an interesting curveball. On the other side of it, it becomes a, oh, well, really? So it's as broad as it's long. As I pointed out before, this is a rather random media-based commentary podcast. We'll return to the standard, talking about escapes and art and, escapes I don't want to do because they scare me too much, or escapes I would like to do because they're not that bad. And we'll return to that in due course. But I just wanted to put this out there to see, first of all, what you think. As ever, if you have a comment, if you have a thought, if you have an opinion, please post it below. And above all else, be polite, be civil, because we're all one race, and that's mankind. So, thank you for listening. This has been the Escapart channel. Thank you very much.